Lu is a good-for-nothing, pathetic loser who gets betrayed by his own organization despite being the strongest assassin. Following his death, he is tasked to assassinate the hero in another world by a goddess. With no other option left, Lu accepts the offer and gets reincarnated into a family of assassins in another world. On a starry night, a girl is getting a makeover at a mansion as the makeup artist urges her to stop crying like a little because that will ruin the makeup and her ugly face won't look any better. The girl, however, knows that no matter how much makeup she gets, she will remain ugly and keeps crying. In the meantime, another girl enters the hall where some men with masks are waiting while savoring their food. Another guy introduces her to the audience and propounds her physical features. He then announces that the bidding will start at $3 million and the men who are staring at her like hungry wolves commence the bidding at $4 million. The price keeps increasing while the girl keeps crying. Amidst all this, a woman calls all of them cheapskates who are offering such a low price for her. Butler explains that she is flat-chested like a freaking cutting board and that her price is already higher than they made for the merchandise. The ugly girl who is crying in the makeup room is still crying and wants to meet her mother to tell her that her genetics suck. Another girl who is sitting beside her is excited about all this and wonders if it's her turn. Just then, a guy calls out her name and she is presented in front of the audience. After she is introduced, the bidding starts at $10 million, and the ugly men are willing to pay much more than this. The girl, however, is here to eliminate them and immediately uses her magic to blind them. After liberating herself, she brings out a gun and starts shooting them like ragdolls, and knocks out one of the guards. She then challenges the remaining guards and asks if they are guilty about their actions. But these idiots don't have a shred of shame in them and they immediately bring out their weapons. With no other option left, the girl stoops even lower and exposes her cheek cover for no reason. She brings out a weapon from her undergarments and kills off one of them smoothly. Seeing this, the couch commander ambushes her only to get his ass whooped. In the meantime, the other girl is mercilessly eliminating the ugly hags as she notices the leader Marquez Calido. However, before she could shoot her, the soldiers appear at the spot and ambush them. Just then, the makeup artist rushes to help and exposes her cheek cover once again, and brings out a gun this time. Both of them absolutely annihilate the soldiers and signal their comrades outside. Seeing the signal, Lu snipes her from afar and completes his mission. In the past, Lu was tasked with a mission to eliminate some mafia members and was assisted by a girl. As soon as he eliminates them, Lu decides to leave, but the girl insists that there are still some members left and they should kill all of them. Lu explains that he's not some Batman wannabe and that their mission was to eliminate the top brass so it can be replaced. As they are about to leave, he notices a drone and decides to drive the vehicle himself. Just then, some other military vehicles also start following them and Lu forces them to shoot their vehicle. With this, their vehicle gets completely destroyed, but Lu and the girl are not in it. Previously, Lu explains that the drones can see engine heat with their cameras, so they cannot escape even if they turn off their lights. He then instructs her to hang the gun from the ceiling and make it seem like they are shooting the military vehicles. Since the drone has only one camera, this will allow them to escape before the car explodes. After they have managed to escape, Lu treats her wounds and instructs her to sleep because the drone might find them if they try to escape at night. As they are lying down, the girl starts asking stupid questions like if Lu has ever felt the touch of a woman, as Lu the yapper starts yapping about his time with the association. He then reveals that he will retire after this mission and is going to start instructing assassins in Japan. Furthermore, today's mission was also a training session since he brought a woke feminist with him. This infuriates the girl as she asserts that she has also received training from the organization and was the top of her class. Upon hearing this, Lu skillfully steals her weapon and points it towards him. He teaches her to not trust anyone blindly, just like I trusted my manipulative ex, and returns the gun. This further infuriates the girl as she points her gun towards him to take revenge, but much to her surprise, Lu had returned the gun without any bullets. Following all this, both of them reach their hideout safely where Lu is informed about his fake passport and his new job. Without thinking any further, Lu takes the girl and boards the plane to Japan. After some time, a massive blast takes place and it is revealed that the plane has been hijacked. Lu, however, immediately realizes that the organization is behind this because they want to get rid of him. He also informs the girl about this and she falls into despair. Lu rushes towards the cockpit where he notices that the pilots are dead and it is clearly not a hijack. He attempts to reroute the plane, but a fighter jet appears out of nowhere and blows the plan. Even though Lu stated that he is happy with his life, he still regrets not living it to the fullest and following the organization blindly. He also is frustrated over the fact that the organization betrayed him so easily. After all this, Lu finds himself standing in an ethereal world where a goddess confronts him and mocks him for being killed by the organization he trusted. Lu questions the reason behind all this as the goddess explains that she has reincarnated his soul from the dead. She wants him to reincarnate into another world with his memories and assassinate the hero of that world. The goddess explains that they normally cleanse the souls of dead people from filth like Lu himself and are recycled. As she is explaining all this, she summons a tea table and offers Lu to join her. Lu used to believe that people are reborn in the same world without their memories, and even if they are reincarnated, their previous personality is abolished. Hearing this, the goddess comments that it would be a pity to reject an offer like this. Lu then questions her regarding the target and if it would pose any threat to him since he is already dead. He asserts that he doesn't want to live as anyone's tool in this life, and the goddess agrees. She tells him that it doesn't really matter to her as long as he accomplishes her mission. With this, the goddess incorporates all the knowledge regarding the isekai into Lu's brain and explains the task once again. She explains that the hero will kill the demon lord in 16 years, but after that he will turn corrupt and destroy the entire world. Lu has to assassinate the hero before that happens. Lu questions the reason behind choosing him as the goddess explains that only an assassin can kill a literal monster like the hero. She also promises to grant Lu the strongest possible stats for a human. He is then allowed to choose his skills from over 100,000 skills. After carefully examining them, Lu chooses skills from every category that will allow him to assassinate the hero. He picks up skills like super recovery, chant weaver, and martial arts. The goddess also grants him the ability to use all 4 elements. With this, Lu is reincarnated into another world and warns him to not stare at her mother's melons like a creep. As he is getting reincarnated, Lu realizes that the goddess has manipulated him into being a tool once again. But if he can enjoy his life after this mission, he has no complaints. In the other world, Lu is lying in his mother's lap while staring at her melons. It turns out that Lu is born to a MILF and a lucky-ass noble. His father decides to name him Lu Tuatha Day, as his mother comments that it's a beautiful name. I'm glad he didn't pull an Annis Voldegode here. That would have been epic though. His mother then asks if Lu will also become an assassin like his father, to which he replies positively. He asserts that the kingdom needs an assassin to do their dirty work and promises that he won't let Lu die. 7 years have passed since Lu's birth, and things are quite peaceful. As Lu is hunting in the forest, he notices a rabbit's poop and notices that it's quite fresh. He immediately jumps on a tree and visualizes the rabbit in the distance. Even though it has been 7 years since his reincarnation, he cannot use magic and has to rely on brute strength for hunting. He needs magic to kill the hero, but for him to learn it, he needs a teacher. Lu then kills the rabbit with a single strike and takes it back home where his mother offers to cook for him. But Lu refuses because she sucks and they might just die after this meal. He proceeds to prepare the rabbit himself with all the nutrients necessary for his growth and development. As he is cooking, his mother comments on how useful the cooking pot Lu invented is. For her, this pot is like magic because it helps cook food faster. But Lu explains to his mother that it's not magic. His father also praises him and had never thought about using pressure and boiling point in cooking. In his previous life, Lu had learned cooking because he had to infiltrate some facilities disguised as a chef. After preparing the cream stew, Lu serves it to his parents who really enjoy it. His father even wants to arrange a party where they will serve this stew, and Lu agrees. At this point, Lu is glad that he's experiencing all this because he was used as a tool in his previous life and never got the love he deserved. As they are eating, his father summons him to the training ground where he asks Lu to take off his clothes, which break him up. He then asks Lu to stand in a specific position and examines his muscular growth. They perform this act once a week because his father is a pervert and wants to examine his muscles. Besides being an assassin, his father is the most famous doctor in the kingdom who has cured many nobles throughout the years. He also taught Lu everything he knows about medicine. At this point, Lu is that annoying neighbor's child who is perfect at everything. After examining his entire body, his father decides that it is about time Lu receives the Tuatha Day magic eyes that will allow him to visualize magic and enhance his eyesight. As he performs the operation, Lu has to remain blindfolded for quite some time, and his mother takes advantage of this to feed him herself. She even attempts to breastfeed him, but his father appears at the spot and forbids Lu to touch his property. He then examines his eye and decides to remove the blindfold. As soon as the blindfold is removed, Lu's vision improves significantly, and he can even see the magic power of others. His father has also decided to get him a magic teacher, and the following day, they meet his teacher, Dia Veikone. Lu underestimates her because she's flat-chested, which infuriates the girl, and she showcases her overwhelming abilities, which shocks Lu. Lu formally introduces himself to his lolly teacher, who turns out to just be 3 years older than him. She'll be teaching him for the next 2 weeks, but before they begin training, she hands over a small stone known as a foul stone that stores mana. She will use this foul stone to determine Lu's mana capacity and asks him to pour all his mana into it. As Lu concentrates his mana into the stone, She comments that only a few adults have such immense mana capacity. Lu, however, shocks her when he keeps on pouring mana into the stone because he had been growing his mana reserves using Super Recovery and Limit Breaker. Dia literally pisses herself after seeing how much mana Lu possesses. The stone eventually breaks and she asks him to throw it away because it will explode. Just as Lu hurls the stone into the air, a massive explosion takes place, giving all of them Nagasaki flashbacks. Seeing all this, Lu's parents appear at the spot and question if Lu is the one behind all this. Dia apologizes to them and explains that she just wanted to check his mana capacity. Lu's pedo father, however, again questions if Lu is the one who caused this. With no other option left, Dia reveals that Lu is behind all this, which makes them insanely overjoyed just like a typical Asian parent, and express their gratitude towards Dia for showing them what their son is capable of. After they leave, Lu asks Dia if she can provide him with some foul stones, but she refuses, stating that these stones are not something you can just buy. Later that night, as Lu is still thinking about these stones, Dia knocks at his door and forces him to sleep with her. She also claims that Lu is now her younger brother, so she won't have to deal with Lu's Excalibur later on. The following morning, Dia hands over another stone and asks Lu to pour some mana into it. She then checks his magical affinity, and it turns out that Lu is inspired by Johnny Sins and is a jack of all trades. At this point, Dia is regretting that she declared Lu her brother and she unbuttons him. Dia wants to unleash his inner magic by converting the mana into elements. Just as she transfers her magic into him, Lu falls into a trance and notices the mana changing color. With this, Lu can now materialize his mana as suddenly memories that resemble characters appear in his mind, which startles him. Dia tells him that people who have an affinity for an element receive revelation from God in the form of these characters, which allows them to use magic. However, since Lu cannot read these characters, Dia demonstrates by creating copper. Lu also copies her, but his pronunciation is slightly off and he ends up creating a rock that looks like my grandma. The following morning, Lu succeeds in creating copper with the correct pronunciation and asks Dia if someone can still use magic if they don't have the spell in their mind, and others write down the spell for them. Dia doesn't know the answer to this, and Lu asks her to write down a spell for him. At first, she writes down the spell for iron creation, and surprisingly, Lu manages to use this spell. This makes it clear that people can use magic even if they haven't received divine revelation. Lu then asks her to write down all the spells she knows. She hesitates in the beginning, stating that it will take too much time, but agrees eventually. According to Dia, there are 36 magic alphabets, and the difference between iron and copper is numbers. Just as she tells Lu about these numbers, he realizes that these numbers are basically the atomic weight of elements. For some reason, Lu remembers the atomic weight of gold and asks Dia to create a spell for it. He's got more chemistry than a Netflix rom-com, unlike you guys who think H2O is an internet slang. He then asks Dia to use this spell, but she ends up fainting. Lu, however, uses his spell without fainting, which makes him realize that his B-rank skilled Chant Weaver is behind this. Realizing this, Lu creates another spell and asks Dia to use it again, and this time around she succeeds. This makes them realize that if Lu creates a spell, they'll be able to use it. With this, they continue creating spells, and after some days, Lu takes Dia to the river and creates a rifle. He uses fire magic to launch the bullet, and with this, Lu is on his way to creating America. Even though he can snipe people with this rifle, just like his previous life, it is not enough to kill the hero. Lu then forges a massive cannon and blows up a rock. Later that night, Dia hugs Lu, which makes him brick up and bids her farewell. Fearing that he might accidentally unleash his Excalibur, he gets up. He then creates a platinum knife for Dia and gifts it to her. He expresses gratitude to Dia for teaching him all this, which makes her insanely happy. Lu also promises to perfect the magic spells she creates when they meet up next time. In return for the knife, Dia gives him a foul stone and asks him to visit her whenever she wants to meet him. Lu promises her, and the following day, Dia leaves the mansion. Seeing his insane progress, his father decides to teach him the truth behind the Tuatha family. Later on, as they are traveling in a carriage, his father asks him some questions about their family and then takes him to a facility where they have kept criminals, which makes Lu wonder if he can use them for experimentation, to which his father replies positively. He also teaches Lu that they are humans, not tools, and they don't just kill people because they are told to. They have to judge people on their own and decide if they deserve to die or not. He then takes Lu to a girl on a death sentence and instructs Lu to kill her. She literally begs him to spare her, but Lu kills her nevertheless. After some time, a mysterious girl is walking all alone in the forest as she collapses on the ground. She remembers how her family abandoned her because they didn't have enough food. She attempts to stand, but her fragile body is no longer capable, as just then some wolves appear at the spot to hunt her. With all of this going on, Lu and his parents are visiting the Harvest Festival, where Lu's mom insists on buying a cookie. Lu, however, urges her to stop treating him like a child, and she insists that he is still a child for her. She eventually starts crying like a bitch and Lu has to comply. Her attachment issues are even more insane than mine. Amidst all this, Lu is searching for people with magic and even finds one, but that person turns out to be an old hag. Lu keeps searching for someone like that because he needs an assistant, but people with magic are rare. The following morning, Lu heads out hunting to store some meat before winter. In the forest, Lu notices some wolves about to hunt their prey. He rushes towards them to test his skills and comes across the girl there. He hands over his equipment to the girl and ambushes the wolves who stand no chance against Lu. He eventually kills all of them and questions the girl's identity and what she is doing here. This scares the girl as she tells Lu that her family abandoned her because they didn't have enough food. Someone told her about the Tuatha region being rich, and being the gold digger she is, she decided to venture here. Hearing all this, Lu prepares some bread porridge for the girl and instructs her to eat it slowly. Otherwise, she won't get second servings. As the girl is eating, Lu skins the wolves and hangs them from a tree to drain their blood. He explains that if she had eaten it fast, her stomach would have rejected it and she would have vomited. Lu knows that the neighboring territory's lord is incompetent and greedy, and the people are suffering owing to an insane taxation. Lu then introduces himself as the son of the noble who governs Tuatha, which shocks the girl, and she comments that God is real. She reveals that a god told her in her dream that she'll have a fateful encounter. Lu immediately realizes that the goddess must be behind this. He then offers her to accompany him because he needs her. Upon hearing this, the girl starts tearing up as she is so damn useless that no one has ever needed her before. Lu further reveals that he has killed people and will continue doing so in the future. Despite this, the girl agrees to accompany him because he has saved her life and he needs her. The girl then introduces herself as Talt, as Lu also formally introduces himself. Lu has successfully manipulated Talt into believing that he's the entire reason for her existence, just like my pathetic ex manipulated me into believing that she loved me. After this, Lu takes her home and makes her his servant. 2 years have passed since the event and Lu is sleeping comfortably on his bed as someone wakes him up. He wakes up to the sight of a girl with massive melons, and it turns out that this girl is actually Talt. I guess puberty hit her hard. As he is changing clothes, Lu tells her that he had a dream about the time they first met, which embarrasses her. He also comments on how beautiful she had become and that he wasn't expecting this. At the table, Lu reminds Talt that she doesn't have to serve him like his servant because it's just an excuse for her to stay beside him. Talt, however, asserts that she is Lu's personal maid and she wants to make his life comfortable. Lu's mother praises Talt's cooking and comments on how things have changed since she arrived. After this, Lu instructs Talt to meet him at the training grounds where he asks her to take off her clothes to examine her body. He touches her places where the sun doesn't shine and gets horny. After fulfilling his nasty desires, he asks her to put on her clothes. At this point, Lu has turned Talt into his special assistant who will assist him in assassination. His father had accepted her on the condition that Lu will have to kill her if she ever betrays them. She has learned everything related to assassination and being a noble's maid in the past 2 years. This makes Lu realize that he was supposed to raise assassins in his previous life as well. After the examination is done, Lu comments that her physical condition is perfect, but she lacks common sense because she's a woman. He asks her to follow him, and on their way, Talt brings out a knife and ambushes Lu only to get folded in an instant. Lu knows that Talt lacks talent for assassination, but she's a hard worker and decides to forge a new training regime for her. Later on, as Talt is training in the basement, Lu visits her and hands over a foldable spear which makes her insanely happy. With this, she can assist Lu in his mission as well. The following morning, Lu wakes up to the sight of Talt's massive plot and questions the reason behind it. Talt states that Lu had allowed her to sleep with him if she wanted. She then hugs him out of nowhere and blasts her melons onto his face. It should have been me though. Watch this next video.